So good morning and thank you for coming to our monthly meeting for the school newspaper. I hope that today we will be able to establish the articles for each of our sections for this month's issue.
Yes, indeed. On that matter, I have just found the CNN article that talks about Nadia Comaneci's Perfect 10, and it happened in 1976, and I think it's really interesting. So, since her 40th anniversary is coming soon.
Yeah, we should put it on the sports section.
Yeah, I just have like a few questions because it totally belongs to the sport knowledge, but
Area of knowledge, you mean?
Yeah, area of knowledge, but um, I don't know where it corresponds because it also talks a lot about her human development and how she made all her process, and I don't know where it belongs.
So we're gonna see if it goes in the celebrities or in the sports section.
I think it's the most suitable areas where we could put it.
Well, first, about the audience of this text, I think that, well, since it's a CNN article, it should go, the audience of this text, the original audience of this text, are people who are interested in sports, or more specifically in gymnastics. But, I mean, it's from the CNN, so the audience opens to an international spectrum. And, well, our audience here for the newspaper are students of high school that belong to the medium high class. They are educated people, and since the article is, well, it requires a certain level of education and cultural awareness to be read, I think that it's also suitable for our audience because our audience might be interested in these cultural sports issues. Because it's more, as I've been reading it, it's
There are
like a
similar
cultural-
audiences.
Yeah.
They're totally comparable.
Yeah, they're comparable because of the cultural awareness that it needs to be read.
Also, it addresses the international culture, as you said. Well, culture. It's developed nowadays because it's a website actually. It is read online.
Yeah, and
So our audience does that too.
and it's about the Olympic Games, and it's a really important cultural event nowadays.
And I also think that the audience, no, the intended audience of the article on CNN also knows something more about the CNN other publications.
Yeah, it's part of a series, right?
Yeah, the Human to Hero series.
Yeah, and they also know like some of the other interviews about Nadia Comaneci because, for example, it says she said in an interview for CNN's Human to Hero series. So the audience need to know what she said in that.
In the other.
But also, I
previous
think
interviews.
this still suits our audience since, well, even though, I mean, the reader of the CNN article is following this series of publications of the Human to Hero series, there are a little bit some aspects that are assumed. For example, there's not jargon as
It
such?
only refers to
certain
competition like bars.
and apparatuses
Yeah,
and
apparatuses and
but they are all inferable if the audience has the required culture or previous
Yeah, I
knowledge,
think
and I think
our audience,
the school community has
Yeah.
this.
has
Our
this
audience
knowledge.
have all
Knowledge.
this knowledge and all this
Yeah.
education.
I'm looking for this piece where it says just lost it.
Okay, now
Yeah.
why don't we talk about the purpose of the text?
Yeah, I think this
It's a feature story.
it's
first of all.
definitely a feature story. Since the purpose of this text is to give
Inform.
the reader a close, deep picture of Nadia Comaneci and her story. I mean, it's not as much as a raw news or like breaking news.
Yes.
Since
It
the
happened
event
40 years ago. Yeah.
is almost 40 years old.
And
But-
to get beyond all her human life, no? How she
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah, the author is trying to get the reader to know Comaneci as a human, as an athlete, and he's constantly sharing like facts of her life and personal quotes or
Yeah.
philosophies that she has, and I think this gives a more humane picture for the
Yes.
reader. That's not as much as sportsy as it could be
Yeah, because
cultural.
the structure is not chronological. I mean, even when it talks about before the perfect 10, how to get the perfect 10, the perfect 10, and after the perfect 10,
Yeah.
it gives more. I mean, the subtitles are look something like philosophy, training, and
Merits.
how how
Early
her
life.
early life, how her attitude was towards her 10. I mean, if you remember, it has a quote in where she says that she was not really impressed about the about her winning and how she
but
was
that-
criticized for that.
Yeah, also it says that she wasn't expecting that she came with a competition
Yeah,
with very
yeah,
low
really
expectations in like second paragraph, something like
Yeah,
that. And also it gives a lot of facts about
Yeah.
like I remember every choreography she says, and also her early trainers.
Yeah, her trainers, her previous competitions, and after that, the author talks a lot about what she does now. That she trains people, and it even talks about her marriage with Bart Connor, who is
Also the-
another athlete that she met in the
I think this is
in
very
those
important.
competitions.
Yeah, for the purpose because
Yeah,
then
it gives a more human.
yeah, and
image.
it's not the author, the audience doesn't stick with the well. She had this process, she had this outcome done. The author allows the people to see what happened
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, after the happy, the
Yeah,
happy
it's-
ever after
It's
feeling,
a more human approach to
like
the
more
to
rounded
the
up.
athlete.
Yeah.
closed in the sense of.
So I totally think it should be in our celebrities section because I also noticed that the tone that the text is using is not totally a sporty tone.
yeah, like objective
Yeah,
or
and-
just straightforward,
Uh-huh.
matter of fact.
It
thing.
gives us a lot of ideas about her life and all the situations.
Yeah, I was like
Yeah,
looking
she
at the
lived.
quotes here, and I noticed that the tone through the quotes, the author gets an optimistic, a little bit of
Reflective
tone.
and-
Inspiring tone.
It's inspiring the reader because they ask Comaneci about how people should react to her perfect 10, and here she says in like paragraph 8.
Yes.
She says, I don't think you should replicate what I've done. Everybody has to be unique and do their own thing. And she goes on with these ideas, which are her personal ideas and philosophies,
Yes.
which are really like upbeat,
Like inspiring.
yeah, and
Well, they encourage, I think, the audience to go beyond things, to achieve what it seems to be impossible.
yeah, the article starts really like unused and giving the context and
Yeah,
stuff.
and
And
the
by
context
the
of
end, by the
competition.
philosophy section,
Yeah.
the author starts developing more of the quotes.
Yeah, and the sports section, I mean, like
The first couple of paragraphs.
yeah, the first couple of paragraphs are about the sports thing, and all the rest of the article is about the human approach to Comaneci.
So by the end, the author is able to make Comaneci's
a reflection about it.
reflections on her sports to be easy to transfer to other areas of life. For example,
Yes.
she has this other quote. She says, "I think that kids should have role models, but I don't think you should duplicate anybody.
Yeah, and
You should create your own
also-
thing."
And also it says you have to have a lot of passion for what you do, to be able to work hard and to have a lot of motivation.
And this is the closing quote, like the most powerful one. And if you notice, there's no reference to gymnastics or sports, so the reader can take whatever he or she finds interesting into his or her life,
Yeah.
her
Yeah, and that
merits and goals.
yeah, and that works perfectly for our audience because we're students. Well, our audience are students. They are young. They need
Different
they
purposes
need
also.
they need inspiring messages. And I think that's what we look with our newspaper, at least with the celebrity section. Because if it was for the sports section, we would go with something more objective about sports,
Informative.
something more informative. Yeah.
And this is more of an inspiring text. And yeah, so I think this text should certainly go in the celebrity section.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, me
Celebrities
too.
it is.
Celebrities.
Celebrity section.
Cool.
So I'm gonna
Perfect.